Hello and welcome to Chesapeake Weekly. So over the past few weeks, we've been really diving into stormwater here in the city of Chesapeake. So we've talked to project manager Crystal Bloom from the Public Works Department all about what stormwater is, how it affects us specifically here in Chesapeake, and kind of the methods of management that we do to try and manage all that extra water that we always have around in this low, flat city. And our final addition to that series is coming up right now. And this week, we're going to talk about some of those stormwater capital projects, how those projects come to be, and a little bit more information about how we really work on the bigger projects to make a difference in how stormwater is managed here in Chesapeake.
Stormwater projects and their needs typically can originate from many sources. So the three major ones are citizen-driven complaints, so service requests that we have that come in. We have our own staff observations that we make when we're in the field, and then any recommendations for improvements that come from our watershed studies that we do in-house. So once a project is identified, we place it on an unfunded list. We also prioritize, score and rank those projects that are on the unfunded list. So as examples, that includes the severity of flooding that occurred in the area, how often that flooding happens, how many people are affected by it. Ultimately, once we have our top ranked projects, then we will see what we can fit within our limited available budget. And then obviously that goes through city manager and city council approval. Majority of our funding for our stormwater improvement projects comes from our stormwater utility fee. Some of the money we also get through grants, whether it's federal or state level. And then there's also a small component that comes from the developer drainage pro rata that's paid through development. Right, so once a project is funded, we'll move into the field work. So we want to try to capture what the existing condition is out there on paper. So once we have the existing information, then we'll come up with the improvement itself. So that involves looking at the size of what we want to put in the ground. So a lot of times we'll do that through our modeling effort. And we will go through and develop the contract documents, which typically includes the construction plan, the specifications, bid package, a cost estimate. Once we have our heads wrapped around that, then we can get it into procurement. We go through the competitive bid process, which is what we typically do for our larger projects. And then ultimately that project, when it's all said and done, will be put into our maintenance cycle to make sure that we're staying on top of getting that maintenance work done.
Well, there are many stormwater construction projects, either under construction or in design or being planned. And you can find a list of all of the active projects on the Public Works web pages, cityofchesapeake.net/publicworks. Just click on the active projects page. Well, with summertime right around the corner, our community centers are really gearing up for what's sure to be a fun few months. Our Chesapeake Television's Karen Myers was out in the Deep Creek area of the city recently, and she caught up with Jeff Wallace, who works at the Deep Creek Community Center, and he gave us a little preview of some of the great things coming up.
Hi, we're here at the Deep Creek Community Center, and with me is Jeff, who works here at the Community Center. So Jeff, tell me about some of the activities that are coming up this summer.
Okay, this summer right now we have volleyball that's very popular. We also have pickleball. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have that. That's very, very, the
very popular,
seniors.
right?
Exactly.
So what exactly is pickleball? Can you briefly tell me? Is it sort of like badminton, or is it more like tennis?
It's similar to tennis, but the nets are a little bit shorter, and we use wicker balls and pad badminton. So the seniors, a lot of seniors come in, but we have a little bit of younger youth that come in as well. But you have to be at least of the age of 18 to come in with a membership. So
you also have a workout facility, and you have tennis courts. So there's a lot going on here. If you want to get a membership, you can go to any of the community centers to get one, and then you can come in here and work out. Right,
you can work out in the fitness room. And it's real popular for the teens, especially when school lets out, right around 4 o'clock for the teens to come in. They have a real good time enjoying basketball. So, and also we have the stand play. they will
Okay.
come in too as well once school lets out.
So it's an after-school program.
It's an after-school
All right.
program as well.
So you're
yeah.
located not too far from the high school. So if you're in the area, be sure to stop by and get yourself a membership card here or somewhere else and use the facilities.
Now, if you're not already a member of the Chesapeake Community Centers, it's honestly the best value you're going to get anywhere for anything. So get this. If you are a Chesapeake resident, it costs you just $35 for an annual pass, and that gets you into any of Chesapeake's community centers. Incredible value. For kids, it's $10, and hey, get this, if you're 55 or older, it's completely free. Again, access to all the facilities, great programs that you get to hear about first, and it really has a sense of community. That's something we saw when we went out and met with Jeff, is that, you know, he's greeting everybody who comes in, everybody kind of gets to know each other, a beautiful sense of community, and a lot of activities and services available to you. So consider joining the community centers. Again, just that one membership gets you access to all of them, and there's really fun stuff coming up. Now, before we leave that topic, so Karen and me and a few other folks from our department are kind of doing like a summer series, summer and fall, going out and visiting various sections of the city. We want to come out to each of the sections of the city to kind of show you all the city facilities, all the services available, maybe some projects going on in your area. So obviously we just started with Deep Creek, and we're going to be featuring all of those stories on the city's Instagram. You can find that at City of Chesapeake VA on Instagram. And of course, every time we go somewhere, I'll work on bringing you some videos from the field so that we can play them right here on Chesapeake Weekly. But we do hope that you'll also hop on over to Instagram and follow us there. And we're excited to come out to a community where you are. So really look forward to that. We're going to start showing you some of those great services we have all throughout the city. All right, I love this time of year because it is really time to be outside, getting that garden prepped, that yard ready. You've probably been out doing that all along. And you know, one of the things that I love doing, because it pretty much gives you the biggest bang for your buck, like you can really look like you did a whole lot of work with just one simple thing, and that's mulch. Mulch makes everything look better, doesn't it? But there are a few things to know about how to mulch properly. You know, we want to clear up some of those myths about mulch. So of course we went to the experts at the Chesapeake Agriculture Department. Mike Andrzejczyk is here with another garden tip to help us figure out some of those mulch myths.
Hi, I'm Mike Andrzejczyk, and I'm with Virginia Cooperative Extension in the Chesapeake office, and I'm a horticulture agent. Today I'm going to talk to you about the myths about mulch and disease issues. So basically, people think that if you chop up a tree that has a disease and you use it as mulch around your tree, that it's going to bring that disease into your tree. And from all the studies, most of the time this is incorrect. Diseases need a certain host, they need a certain environment to survive. And if you chop up that tree, it changes that environment. And then you spread it on the surface where maybe it's more exposed to sun and moisture, it's also changing the environment. Then you have your plant that's growing in the ground that hopefully has a good soil, good water, and basically growing well and healthy. It's going to be able to fight off a disease much more effectively. And then those roots are much deeper in the soil than where your mulch is. So most of the time, that disease is not going to transfer into your plants. Verticillium is also a common fungal disease that gets into the vascular system of maple trees and a few other plants. It is prevalent, or it's all over anyway in the soil and whatnot. So if you're keeping your tree healthy, adding a chipped tree is not going to affect your plant. And so by mulching, you're taking that mulch away from the landfills, you're helping benefit your tree more than putting it at risk with disease. There are a lot of different myths out there, and one good site to check is Linda Chucker-Scott's out of the University of Washington in Washington State, and you might check there. You can always call us in our office or check our website out, and we can get you more information on that. And I'll have a few more tips about mulch and other myths that we have in the gardens.
You can find that entire series of gardening tips on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Chesapeake Television. Tons of great information there, all from the experts. So definitely give that a look. Well, we really like to take you behind the scenes of some of our city services so you can truly see how they work, how they function, and kind of get a little insider's look at some, particularly the more interesting ones, like, say, for example, EMS. It's really cool to see all the training that they put into what they do. They are always there, ready to react whenever we need them most. So we, not long ago, did a story on some of this EMS training, and it's really interesting to check out. Take a look.
Every day when we come into work, we have to check our equipment off. We've got different bags for different emergencies, a red airway bag for breathing problems, this trauma bag for any kind of trauma, and a medical bag. We've got our cardiac monitor up here, and with these tools, we can handle any emergency that comes out. The training doesn't stop when you leave the academy. You get your certifications, but in order to be a proficient provider, you have to maintain them. We have regular continuing education credits that we have to go through. Our certifications need to be recertified every couple years, whether that's going through cardiovascular emergencies, different types of medical situations and whatnot, because we don't know what we're going to respond to.
I've always had a need to help people, and I did 6 years in the military, but I kind of just worked with machinery and stuff like that. I didn't really get to work with people a whole lot on a more individual basis. So becoming a firefighter paramedic, getting to help people every day, was a huge kind of goal of mine. Like, just the idea of it was pretty up there for me. So once I got in the military, I really tried to pursue that, something that I could go to work every day and go home every day, just glad that I could help somebody out.
Can you pull her up, please?
All right.
Pull her up.
1, 2, 3. So the kind of person best fitted for this job is someone who's honest, they have some integrity. We go into people's houses in the worst moments of their lives. Someone who's willing to work hard, have a good work ethic, someone who's physically strong, able to do the job. There's a lot of physical aspects of it. There's a lot of information to go through and learn, from being certified as an EMT up to paramedic, even on the fire side as well. There's a lot of information, a lot of testing that goes into it.
Every call we go on is different, so it's not like you can always prepare, because even if it's a chest pain, we had a chest pain yesterday, this individual person's chest pain is something that's completely different. So we have our protocols that we go along with, but it's all about reading people as well, and I think that's one of the great things about this job is that it's always different, it's always a challenge, but we do have plenty of training and experience to fall back on as well. But you just kind of follow in those protocols and that training and that experience, and thankfully I'm here at a station. I'm fairly new. I've only been here for not even 2 years, and I've got 2 paramedics here at the station with me that their experience, they can jump in and help me and whatnot whenever they can, and that's a really good feeling. So
I enjoy what I do. I like being a firefighter paramedic. It's been one of the most rewarding things that's happened to me in my life, is getting into the fire service and getting into EMS. I truly enjoy coming here every day, being physically active, being challenged. I never know what we're going to go on, and that's exciting to me. I can't imagine myself doing anything different.
Now, if you want to help out those in need, a really great way to do that, say maybe you don't quite have the stomach to be an EMS person or a firefighter or a police officer, totally get it, but you can still save lives. And did you know that you can actually save 3 lives while spending about 20 minutes lying down, and then you get a cookie afterwards? I'm talking about giving blood. So right now, it is the American Red Cross Mayor's Cup competition. This is a very fierce competition between all the cities in our area. And I'll have you know, Chesapeake is currently the 3-year reigning champ. For the past 3 years, we have given more blood at our blood drives than anybody else. And I will have you know, Virginia Beach is coming for us, all right? They think they're gonna beat us this year, and we're not going to let them. So if you've been planning on giving blood, please do. The Mayor's Cup blood drive competition goes on now through August 31st. So if you give blood at any time between those dates, before August 31st, just mention the code Chesapeake Mayor. And if you do that, then Chesapeake will get credit for it. We're going to beat everybody again, 4th year in a row. Blood drives are taking place all over Chesapeake over the next few months. So take a look at redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS, and you can find a blood drive near you and sign up for as many of them as you can. They're doing lots of giveaways, lots of contests for people who give. And like I said, you always get a cookie afterwards. So really, what's to lose? And again, don't forget to use that code, Chesapeake Mayor. We're going to win 4th year in a row. Let's do this. And finally, one last reminder about the moved due date for payment for taxes. At their May 24th meeting, City Council extended the deadline for personal property taxes, real estate taxes, and the stormwater utility fee. Moved that to June 30th. So all bills have been mailed. So if you haven't received yours yet, you certainly should very soon. And while the bills themselves might say the old deadline, that's because they were mailed out before this decision was made. Just know that the new deadline is actually June 30th, and you can pay in several different ways: online, by mail, by Dropbox, or in person. Learn more about that at cityofchesapeake.net. Well, that does it for this week's edition of Chesapeake Weekly. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to give you a little preview from Parks and Rec for what they have coming up, and then we'll see you next week.